Welcome back, students, to the last part of this chapter. Yesterday I took you across and we did the key features of the Indian Constitution. We read all the key features, and in that one key feature which was there was the fundamental rights. The article of fundamental rights which is there in our Constitution basically is very important because each and every individual or each and every citizen of India is having these fundamental rights because of the Constitution. So we will read these fundamental rights. There are 6 of them. We will go through these fundamental rights and we will try and understand each and every one of these fundamental rights in detail. Okay, so there you have it on your screen, the 6 fundamental rights in our Indian Constitution: the right to equality, the right to freedom, the right to freedom from exploitation, the right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the right to constitutional remedies. Now these 6 fundamental rights are a very important part of our Indian Constitution because without these rights a person cannot live properly in any democratic country, is what our Indian Constitution says. It is a very basic requirement for a human to maintain his dignity in society. That is why these rights are very and extremely important as per our Indian Constitution. And as we go through these rights, you will understand the importance of each and every one of these, and you will realize that yes, it is not possible to live properly and conveniently without these rights. So first one, let us take the right to equality. Right to equality. There are articles in the Constitution from 14 to 18 in our Indian Constitution. These articles are basically like rules, a set of rules, and articles 14 to 18 constitute this right to equality. It says right equality before law. Article 14 provides that the state shall not deny to any person equality before law or the equal protection of law within the territory of India. Prohibition of discrimination, equality of opportunity, abolition of untouchability, and abolition of titles. So if you read these, you will understand that what this right says is under each and every circumstance, whatever it is, even if it's a court case, it's a question of law, it's a question of getting work, it's a question of caste system, whatever it is, all Indians are treated equally. There is no difference between any of the Indians. This is what the basic gist of this right to equality is, that no person shall be denied this particular right to equality under any circumstances in any part of India. Okay, protection of law within the territory of India. Prohibition of discrimination, rich, poor, farmer, businessman, industrialist, whatever color of the skin is, whatever religion he follows, whatever caste he belongs to, whatever gender he is, each and everything is considered, and there will not be any discrimination on the basis of these things. They are equal. Equal opportunity for all means this person, each and every individual in India has the opportunity to work wherever he wants, go to whichever place he wants, live in whichever state he wants, whichever territory he wants. He can own land anywhere in India, and as you know, recently even Kashmir has been added in this. So this equality is there, he can practice it any part of India. And abolition of untouchability, obviously we know that untouchability was earlier practiced in India and it has been abolished as per our constitution. So untouchability is nowhere there in India. So these were the rights to equality. Going to the next one, we have the right to freedom. Okay, now this right to freedom says that right to freedom of speech and expression, right to assemble peacefully without arms. Without arms means without weapons, not these arms. Okay, it says without weapons. Right to form associations or unions, right to move freely throughout the country or territory of India, and right to practice any profession. So the freedom over here is not just the freedom of movement or of speech. There are many freedoms associated with this. It says that I can form any association. I can, any association or unions means I can get together people, I can form a group of people, I can get that group of people registered. We do one particular kind of work, like you see social workers doing, we see lots of NGOs. This is called as a association. Right, to peacefully assemble without any arms. We can conduct marriages. We have the freedom to that. We call hundreds and thousands of people for particular marriage. We have the freedom to that. But of course, without any arms, without weapons. Once people are carrying weapons over there, it becomes illegal. Right to freedom of speech and expression. This is the right to express whatever you feel, however you want to feel. But of course, here you need to be careful that you do not hurt the sentiments of other religions or other people. You do not spoil someone's name, because then that person can put a case on you. It might land you in trouble. But of course, you have the right to speak whatever you want to speak, to express whatever you want to express. And the right to move freely throughout the territory of India. You can make a house anywhere in India, you can live anywhere in India. It is your right. That freedom is given to you. And the right to practice any profession, whichever profession you want. You want to work as a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, an actor, a painter, an artist, whatever you want, an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter, it is your right. You are free to do that. No one is going to stop you. Coming to the next one, we have right against exploitation. Yes, as you can see the images in the slide over there, we are seeing children working where they're not supposed to be working. Of course, they're not supposed to be working. This right against exploitation is basically exploiting people for what they need. Say for example, there is a poor family. The parents are not able to feed their children. They are not able to send their children to school. So instead they send these children to do some kind of labor work, like it is shown over here in the photograph. And the person who is doing this labor work, he takes these small children into employment, whereas he is not supposed to, because he can make these children work for a very, very less amount of money, or even sometimes they will not even pay money, just give them one time's meal. So this is called as exploitation. Here the contractor or the businessman, whoever he is exploiting the situation of that particular child. He is exploiting the situation of that particular parent for his own benefit. So this is illegal and he is not supposed to do it, because our constitution gives us the right against exploitation. Can't be forced to work against will, without payment. Children below 14 years of age can't be employed in factories or mines. India is home to close to 13 million children laborers. A very sad situation. Even though we have the right to exploitation, you can see it right here, that there are 13 million child laborers in India. So this is a right which we can fight for, the right against exploitation. Coming to the next one, we have the freedom of religion. You can practice any religion you want in India without anyone questioning you or stopping you or asking you why are you following this particular religion. Freedom of thought and conscience, freedom of opinion and expression, freedom of peaceful assembly and association. These all together give you the freedom of religion. So, right to practice any religion I want, which is also called as secularism, which we have it. So this is one of the most important fundamental rights which gives us secularism, also the right to practice any freedom. Now when we say peacefully assemble and association, it means that I do not have the right to hurt the sentiments of another religion. I cannot say that my religion is superior, yours is bad. I cannot compare, I cannot discriminate against any other religion. So this is where the right has limitations. It stops you from giving bad names to another religion. Okay, whatever you have to do it peacefully. You cannot fight in the name of religion. That is illegal and against the law. Coming to the fifth one. We have cultural and educational rights. Now the meaning of this is protection against interest of minorities, freedom to get admission in educational institution, right to minorities to establish educational institution, and no discrimination while giving grants. Now the cultural and educational rights, it says that, for you to understand better, I can say that suppose you are belonging to a particular community, okay, you have the right to start an educational institute favoring the people of that community. That right is given to you. In that particular educational institute, you can give lessons or you can have courses which propagate your own religious sentiments, means you can publicize your own religion without hurting any other religion. So that is the right which is given to you in cultural and educational rights. You can take admission in any other educational institute anywhere in India, provided you have the qualifying marks or whatever qualifying things that that particular education institute has. And in case the government is giving grant or scholarships to anybody for studies, they cannot discriminate on the basis of whatever religion that they are following. So that is the meaning of no discrimination while giving grants. So this is the cultural and educational rights that are given to all citizens of India based on their religion, right? Now coming to the last one, and probably I think the most important fundamental right that we have, that is the right to constitutional remedies. I will occupy the entire screen over here. My face would get covered, but that is fine. You can hear my voice. Okay, here it is, right to constitutional remedies. Mere declaration of fundamental rights is meaningless until and unless there is a machinery for its enforcement. What it says is, just by writing in the constitution that you have the right to freedom, that you have right to equality, right to religion, all this, just writing is not sufficient. It should be enforced, it should be practiced all over the country. Article 32, which was referred to as the very soul of the constitution by Dr. Ambedkar, provides for constitutional remedies. This right empowers the citizens to move a court of law in case of any denial of the fundamental rights. In case I find that I am not being given my fundamental rights, I have the right to go to court and fight against it. This is what the right to constitutional remedies gives me. The Supreme Court shall have the power to issue directions or orders or writs for the enforcement of any of the rights conferred by fundamental rights. So this particular right is something which gives protection to all the other rights and all the citizens of India for getting those other rights. So this is, as Dr. Ambedkar has said, the very soul of the constitution. You know, every human being has a soul, right? That is the main power or the energy which is there within you, and without that there is no life. So this Article 32, or the right to constitutional remedies, does that function. It is the very soul of the Constitution of India. Without this particular right, all the other rights are almost useless because there is no protection. Okay, I hope you have understood. Let us recapitulate once again all those rights or all the fundamental rights so that it remains fresh in your memory. And as usual, of course, you know that you can always visit this video once more, again and again, how many ever times you want, so that you are able to understand better, right? So coming back to the 6 fundamental rights, we'll recapitulate the right to freedom, the right to equality, right against exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the right to constitutional remedies, which is also called as the soul of the constitution. Okay, so here we will stop this particular lesson. We have completed this chapter. I will be posting the notes for this chapter either today or by tomorrow maximum, and you can note those down. If you do not have a book to write it down, you can memorize it or you can keep on reading it. Once you get a book, you can note those down in the books. Okay, so for now, take care and bye bye. Thank you.